supposed to be 25.5 miles, rim to rim, north to south rim. Mark did go north to south rim. He just didn't go the path most traveled. He decided to take the path less traveled.
And it made all the difference. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Perks in Paving. As always, we're joined by my beautiful bride, Paige. I'm Mark, and today we have Jesse over there on the ones and twos. Welcome, Jesse.
How we doing? It's a pleasure to be here on the Perks and Paving.
Yeah, it's wild how it's already been a month since we recorded. It already feels like
it's been 5 days.
Yeah, but we've had a lot going on.
Yeah.
And to start things off today with our core value for this episode, we picked which one?
Fun.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of fun. We work hard, but we also have fun. And I feel like a lot of the times people think that when they see us having fun, that may
that's all we do.
Display that we only have fun or that we slack off, and that's really not the case. Work hard, play hard type of thing is kind of the mentality that we have. We have a lot of opportunities to do a lot of different things. So first, since you just got back, we won't dive into it too deep just yet because there's way too much to get into with the Grand Canyon just in a small segment. But I did the Grand Canyon last year. You did the Grand Canyon this year.
I did.
I mean, what a great opportunity to bond with coworkers and, get outside of the normal atmosphere that we're used to, hanging out with each other. I think just creates a whole level beyond what you're used to for coworkers.
Yeah, and it was also an amazing opportunity. We got to do the hike with two veterans in our group. We were partnered up with K2 Adventures and AMP as well. And we had two vets on the trail, and it was an absolute honor to talk to them and do something like that together. And I know Clint's already reached out and asked me or invited me to another event.
Nice.
I think in a couple of months, I want to say. I got to double check on that, but meet some real special people. And I think too, there were a lot of Pittsburghers out there too, not only in our group, but also Brian had come across a rather large contingent of people from Pittsburgh down in the valley. So
pretty wild. You're, in a completely different area of the country, and then you run into people from home. So
yeah. For sure.
I think even just the atmosphere in the office, like Trudy loves putting, little short, 20-minute segment things together around the holidays, just, little
college football quizzes
and stuff. I mean, that stuff kind of gets us out of the daily grind for, 20 minutes just for us to get together and chat. And I think things like that really help bring us closer together. Whereas I don't remember having anything like that in any of my previous jobs where we just kind of took a couple minutes to connect and bond on a different level.
Yeah. And, with working with the contractors in our network.
We have a lot of fun with them too.
Yeah. When we have our big TCS retreats, there's usually a meetup beforehand, and oftentimes they come to Pittsburgh. And for them to come to our quote unquote home and welcome them here and just kind of hang out, it's different seeing and hugging and talking and being in person rather than just the texting that we do every day. So
for sure.
Those events are always fun because there's always extracurriculars, people going out to dinner or anything outside of the group. So it's always great to sit down, connect, catch up, and not really talk about work and just get to really know these people.
Right. And a lot of the times when we have all of the time when we have the top contractor school events, a lot of it is dedicated to learning, but it's fun when you get to do it with people that you actually get to create relationships and enjoy being around. So that adds a whole other component to those types of events. But
and not only that, but the Pavement group is partnered with two professional sports teams in Pittsburgh.
How cool is that?
The Steelers and with the Penguins, and it's not an every week thing, but there's certainly opportunities to go to games.
Dave got to go to the game last night,
and it's really cool, and it's a lot of pride to see a company that you work for be advertised and known across the city, and it's like, I work there.
Yeah, when we're watching like a Steelers event or Penn's game, and we see our name on the score or the boards around the Penn Stadium, or when they're doing the Pave the Way initiative at the Steelers events, I mean, I just love being a part of something like that and having a company that feels as though that's so important. So,
I actually want to ask you guys too. So, since this is a relatively smaller company by like manpower. I mean, like there's not hundreds of people. Do you feel a little bit more connected to like when you see that? Like I know I worked at some places where you would see them advertised, and I'm like, that's not me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
it's a massive corporation. They've been working together forever.
Yeah.
So isn't it a little bit different?
That's a
seeing it from that perspective.
That's a really good point. The company, the national company that we worked for as physical therapists when we worked together, I think has over 50,000 employees.
Right. There you go.
And at that point, there's no way to cut it. You're a cell on a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
And
do you
it
even
couldn't
identify with
right. It couldn't be a more polar opposite feeling or sense of identity
Yeah.
working with a smaller company
Yeah,
like this.
like-
So
Absolutely.
When we get to go to the Pens games and be with Brian, the CEO of the company, and him,
Right.
be able to point out like, hey, like that's what we get as a part of our sponsorship, and like be able to take in those exciting moments with him. Like he's just as excited, and obviously
Absolutely.
we're thrilled to be able to be a part of stuff like that. So
Yeah.
pretty different than working for a
No.
larger corporation. So
I mean, they didn't do a whole lot of significant advertising either as well, but there is a prominent NFL football team where their logo is plastered all over the sidelines in the stadium. But
Yeah.
Yeah?
yeah, the Eagles.
oh,
Mm-hmm.
select.
Novacare.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Interesting. Laura and I got to go to a really nice event last week. So we got the opportunity to volunteer with Steel City Impact at the Fall Festival,
Nice.
which I wasn't really sure exactly what that was going to entail. We went to the gala last year, which was also a blast. We all got to dress up and go and support, once again, Steel City Impact. But this past week, we got to go to the event. It was me, Laura, and Miles, and we got to sell the tickets for the high-end items, so like the Louis Vuitton, and there was like a little Pens package, and a night at what's the bachelorette? Man, I'm blanking on the name of. Nemacolin.
There
Sorry,
you go.
there we go. But yeah, so we got to do ticket sales for that, and I enjoy volunteering, and I think so do they. So we knew we were gonna have a good time, but we really had a nice night. The Steel City Impact Group did a phenomenal job putting on the event. I wasn't sure if it was gonna be more like kid friendly or adult friendly, and it was definitely more adult friendly. There were some kids there, but just every detail was thought through. A lot of great prizes. There was good food. There were food trucks. There was a nice board of like, I think there was a sporting event on that night, so they had that
Mhm.
broadcasting up there. They had the trendy like Steel City letters in the background. I mean, it was beautiful. So we had a good time. Unfortunately, I feel like everyone was kind of in and out of the office. You were gone, so you didn't get the opportunity to go. But those are the types of events that we love doing together as a company. So it's nice that we work with a group of people that are willing to give back to the community and take the time.
Yeah. And I mean, speaking of communities, you had an event today, or is it tomorrow, with local Pittsburgh Action for Women?
Oh, yeah.
Is that tomorrow?
Yeah, that's tomorrow. So I get to go to an event. I'm not really sure exactly what it entails. This will be my first year going, but Brian asked me to go, so we'll report more on that next episode. But yeah, I'm definitely very excited to, interact with a lot of other women throughout the city. I'm assuming it's construction specifically, but I'm not certain. So, like I said, I'll report back. But yeah. So, do you have any more fun things to add about fun?
I think we're going pretty good so far.
Yeah. Okay, good stuff. I want to dive into the deep convos about the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
So, things didn't go exactly how you had planned, huh?
Not 100%, no, but
So I was getting updates just so Mark, for people who don't know exactly what the Grand Canyon entailed, it's supposed to be 25.5 miles, rim to rim, north to south rim. Mark did go north to south rim. He just didn't go the path most traveled. He decided to take the path less traveled.
And it made all the difference.
Yeah, so I probably would have been freaking out had I known, because Eric Guy was giving updates the whole time of where everyone was and how everyone was doing. And I'm like, okay, he's probably maybe a little ahead of the pack, but I figured you were right there with the pack. So tell us about the moments, the the first moments that you realized you just were a little bit off path?
So there were several red flags that I had the opportunity to turn around. One being that there wasn't a pool of water or anything that I was expecting after the first bridge. But I kept on going. I thought maybe everyone's just kind of taking a break and like
You're just really far ahead.
I'll just keep going. Like no big deal. So I got a couple miles up and I was able to look down and see an exact view of where I had walked, where the bridge was, and I didn't see anyone behind me. It had been a good probably 45 minutes at that point. So at that point, I'm like, well, this probably isn't where you're supposed to be. But at that point, I was already probably 3 miles in, and I really didn't want to backtrack, even though it would have been going back downhill to try and rush and catch up with everyone. So I figured, you know, the moment I can confirm that this is going to exit on the south rim, like, we'll be okay.
Yeah.
That was a good hour before I ran into anyone before I saw anyone at that point.
Yeah.
But, you know, that was a little nerve-wracking, but.
Well, were you, for that hour, an hour's
For
a
that,
long time.
It was.
Especially when you're alone, not familiar with where you are. So talk me through that hour. Like, what was going through your head?
So at that point, it was, we're climbing, which is good. Like, if we were still going down or if it was flat or level, I was probably like, this probably isn't where I need to be. But we were climbing, and then eventually, you know, I had fully reloaded water. I still had food. I had everything packed. So
that water was
my water. From down at Phantom Ranch.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So I had refilled everything when we stopped. And when I realized that I had probably been separated from the group, I was like, well, let's just hold off on consuming anything until you know what's going to happen here.
So yeah, tell us what the terrain and what are the differences on that path compared to the path that everyone else took?
So the South Kaibab Trail, which I took, is I think 6 miles long, and
from Phantom Ranch. So Phantom Ranch is at mile
13, 14, something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The other trail, which is the Bright Angel Trail, is 2 miles longer. However, my trail that I took was, like I said, 2 miles shorter, but in complete sunlight with minimal shade and no areas for water refill for the entire way back, which is why I kind of held off on having any water until I figured out where I was. But we made it. We made it.
So luckily, Mark used my pack from last year, and I did have some water purification tablets. So at least that was a peace of mind.
Right.
In a pinch, if you needed to.
There was non-potable water, so I did have the tablets, but I talked to a few people there, and they kind of highly recommended against it. They said if you have enough water, you should be fine, because if you've never had the tablets before, like, it's really gonna upset your stomach. That's not what I was looking for.
The purification tablets?
No, like to have an upset stomach. Like,
but the purification tablets will.
Yes, that's what they had mentioned. So I didn't want to put myself in any more physical distress than what I was already suffering in that canyon, but. Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, for that hour it was a little nerve-wracking, but once I started seeing people and finding out that I was going the right direction, it was okay.
Did it ever come to a point where, like, it was, like, kind of comical to you? Or
it was, and I was
were there any funny moments, or was it just, like, how in the world did I
No,
make
it wasn't how in the world. Like, I knew I was going to have this exact conversation, but I didn't think it was going to be on our podcast, but yeah.
You thought I was not going to talk about you getting lost in the canyon?
I didn't get lost. I just took a different trail. But no, but it was nice. There were a couple people who we were alternating shade spots with. So there'd be like a night. We probably a good 2-3 mile stretch. We were, you know, passing each other, and she would rest in the shade, and then if she saw me coming, she was ready. She would leave and give me the opportunity while she would go ahead, and vice versa. And one of the things I talked about in like the post-hike interview was like, you're in 100+ degrees in the sun, totally miserable, and every single person that I walked by had a huge smile on their face. Hey, how are you? When I was resting, people stopped, said, hey, you okay? Everything good? Absolutely. Yeah. I came across people who kind of looked a little rough, and, you know, are you okay? Do you need any water or anything like that? So I told Eric guys specifically, like, to see that kind of kindness in the most dire of circumstances, like, really kind of rejuvenated my human spirit, and just being kind to one another. And I just thought that was like one of the best things too, because you're truly miserable at points in that thing, and it's the easiest thing in the world not to say hello or just keep your head down and keep moving. But
very good point. So what would you say the most difficult point of the whole hike was for you?
It would be probably 3 miles out when I was
Out from the end?
out
or-
from the end.
Okay.
Yeah. 3 miles doesn't sound like a whole lot, but after you've done what 18 or 17, 18, 19 miles, and it's really, really hot, and you're just going what seems like straight uphill. Every corner you turn, you're looking.
Mhm.
You're looking to see, oh, does it flatten out for a parking lot, or does it flatten out for? And every corner turn, there's another huge valley, and then you look up, and there's another pike.
Yeah.
But I think the best, worst moment of the whole experience was probably just when I think I had just about 3 miles left, and I looked back down, and I could see a good view of the river, and I thought, holy, like
I did that.
I've already come up this high. Like that is so far down. Like that's pretty amazing. And then you turn around and you see how much more you have to go. And it's paralyzing. You're both so happy, but you're also, it's hard to articulate. You're so thrilled, but then you're so miserable of just like how much more is this gonna be?
Yeah.
But I mean, there's no option. It's you or the canyon.
Yeah.
I'm not paying 60 grand for a helicopter to come get me
Yeah.
or
Did you get the insurance?
no.
Oh, I didn't know.
No.
I didn't ask you.
I gotta say something though, like people tease and all that stuff. I will say this: people say I can go up the wrong trail, but I'm the only person in TPG history that's done the South Kaibab Trail, and I'm the only person that's done it alone too. So there's that.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I would love to do that again. But I would like to go rim to rim to rim and do all three, and try and do it in like a 1 day, 1 24-hour period.
So we were talking the other day, and I had to remind you what type 2 fun was. So
Right.
I asked him when he got home on Monday night, I go, so was it type 2 fun? And he goes, I don't remember what type 2 fun is. And I'm like, it's not fun while you're doing it, but it's really fun when you're done. Because he called me as soon as we were done. He goes,
oh yeah.
I'm done hiking.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm done.
I'm
hiking.
never gonna
never
do something
hiking
like this
again."
ever again. This is within like 5 minutes of me getting out
Yeah.
of total exhaustion, total just
And then he gets home. He goes, I know you're going to like just laugh at me for telling you this, but I think I want to do rim to rim to rim. Like, you literally just told me yesterday you didn't
Right.
want to hike again. Now you want to do, so what would that be? Like 30 some?
40 plus miles, like almost 50.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I was thinking only halfway. Yeah.
Well,
you're correct.
it's part of it is those last 3 miles of going up and just the physical and mental strength you have to just to keep on going. Like the first thing I wanted to do once I like healed up whatever was just turn right back around and run down that. Just as a big like I just spent like 3 hours getting up.
Dave ran the last probably half mile out of the canyon. Did you
Yeah.
have that type of
No.
adrenaline rush as
There
you
was
approached the end?
no running at all. No running at that point. You're taking breaks like every probably couple 100 yards
Yeah.
because it's just this.
Yeah.
And then you turn and it's that.
So that
and it's the,
so that's
and
the
it doesn't
difference.
stop.
Yeah, that's the difference with us. So we had the switchbacks the whole way out of the canyon, the last 4 or so mile.
I think it's like
Maybe
I think it's 3 for you guys, maybe 3 or
I
4.
don't know. Maybe it didn't. Oh no, I think it ended on the switchbacks too. I don't know. I was like delirious by the time we were done. But ours was more of this, and yours seemed like it was straight up.
Yeah.
For what you said. So
Yeah. I mean, it was like 200-foot higher incline, but I mean, from the get-go, once I crossed the wrong bridge, I mean, it just started. There was no easing into, and yeah. I know we talked whenever before I did the canyon, I said, oh, the marathon's got to be.
well, that was where I wanted to go with this next. So I thought for sure. I mean, obviously we trained. You trained pretty hard for the marathon. I trained, but not nearly as hard as you did. I feel like I said from the jump after I had done both the Grand Canyon and the marathon that both really hard, but not really comparable.
They are
And
not.
They are not.
You're
And
absolutely right.
it's just a completely different mindset. You would think like, okay, you're just walking, and yeah, it's 25 miles, but you're like, if I can do 26.2 running, why can't I do 25 and a half walking?
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, it took me, I think, 12 hours and 45 minutes to do the Grand Canyon. So we did the marathon in what, 5+ hours?
Something like that.
Something like that. But like, you think like doing something in 5 hours versus almost 13, like it must be harder to do a marathon. But the marathon was definitely harder for me, I think, because I didn't train as much. But different components of both had different levels of difficulty. Like
you're walking, but it's still like uneven surfaces.
Yeah,
like the murder that you put your feet through, like different surfaces, different inclines, declines. Like
The
you're
heat,
stumbling, the heat.
You're just in like a constant like mental battle with yourself.
You
And
are.
like you only have to do it for a walking pace versus, you probably had similar thoughts during a marathon, but like it was done in 5 hours.
Yeah.
So you had it for 13 hours just constantly like talking to yourself like, I can do this. You have no option but to finish.
Yeah.
But
you know what else that's in a marathon that isn't in the Grand Canyon is a whole freaking city rooting you on and throwing you beers or orange slices or something like that. Like that is huge.
Yeah.
But when you're by yourself or if you're in a group, it's hard.
Yeah.
And I think my biggest takeaway for 36 years old, I think I'm in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Because I've run 4 days a week, a few miles here and there, but like no formal hiking training. Like I didn't run steps like I know Joyce did last year.
Mm-hmm.
That is probably the most effective way if I had to do it. I think she had the right track with that, but
Yeah.
Do you guys believe in team building exercises like that? Do you think that that's something that's worth it, or would you rather just like go have a dinner together? Like, what's your like? Do you think that has value?
So I'm glad you brought that up because I know that the other TPG guys all kind of hung out and stuck together. But for me, it started when we were probably an hour outside of the canyon where I started to get a lot of nervous energy. And I went really, really quiet on the bus. And Eric Guy kind of came over and he's like, are you good? And I said, yeah. And he said, you're just locking in. I said, yeah.
Yeah.
He said, well, like, tell me about it. And I said, because I know tomorrow that there are going to be multiple times where I'm going to want to quit or I'm going to talk myself down or, you're just frustrated and there's nothing to do besides get out.
Yeah.
And I said, I need to, I've just taken that time and putting myself in that zone and out of the gate, as much of it should have been a communal thing, that wasn't my personal mindset. And I jumped like immediately. Once we got in, I went.
I'm curious, had you done it last year with us, if you would have still gone ahead? I mean, I don't think Kristen would have let you, to be completely honest, but like, would have you stayed with us since it was a group of, there's probably 10 of us together, 9 of us together, and stuck with the team?
That's a good
or
question.
Would have you gone ahead?
I think now that I've done it, and like I know I can do it, and like let's just say we did it, if we had the opportunity to do it next year, I would probably hang out with everyone because I've done it, I've proven it to myself. I moved out of there, I got out of there quick, and now I could probably enjoy it a little bit more. But my energy and my mindset going into that whole thing was just to in and out as quickly and efficiently and as safely as possible.
Yeah. I will say, your question specifically was like going to a dinner or something like that.
Yeah,
compared
just
to
any
this.
general thing, like pizza parties, like right? Isn't that like the general
I love a good
consensus?
pizza party.
Of course,
Don't get me
of course,
wrong,
right.
but I think it's once again, I don't know
Which
if
we
they're
do that too, so that's another thing.
No,
it's
and
like
I
you're getting
love
best of both worlds.
I love our pizza parties. They're great. You know, that's something that going back to the fun, we do
last Friday
of every month, and I think that's a great way for us all to get together.
Yeah.
So I love that. But it's kind of funny thinking back to the Grand Canyon. Yes, we all stayed together for the most part, that front crew. But we really didn't talk that much. So it's funny. I do feel as though it brought us all together, but it's funny that like we didn't really communicate that much during. I mean, yeah, we chatted. There were definitely funny points. I mean, Tyler had, ain't no gas in it or whatever he said the whole time. And I mean, we were like so miserable, and then he would say that, and we would all like just die laughing. So just silly things like that.
Right. Ironically,
maybe
he ran out of gas too.
Right. Yeah. Right. But I mean, not deep conversation.
Right. You don't need
but
to.
But we didn't need that in the moment. We were all going through something that was so similar and so difficult that I think us just going through the same things at the same exact moment and being able to talk about it later at dinner, I think was the stuff that brought us all together, kind of compare our experiences and I don't know.
Yeah.
Diversity.
Well, I didn't necessarily bond in the canyon. I spent the entire 4 or 5 days with Swing and Trey and Wham. I mean, outside of the canyon, we spent pretty much every single hour together besides sleeping and stuff like that. So we talked about a lot of things, where we were on this side of the building, where things are on One Team Media, and I got to see, they heard where, we are in the season and where you guys are in the company and stuff like that. And I thought we definitely connected on another level, spending time just traveling together too. So
yeah. It's a different way to like just go through the day, like, because we go through the daily grind. Like, there's adversity built into every single day, right? That we have at work or at any job. But usually a lot of companies would be like, "Here's the pizza." Like it's like a pizza party. That's like the joke, right?
Yeah.
But it is cool that the adversity gives everybody an opportunity to have a different angle of like working together and seeing each other like struggle. I think that's why people are so connected in that team environment, because they're struggling together.
For sure. Yeah, that's what I mean. Dave and I, for instance, like we have offices right next to each other, but we work on different teams here. We never really work on the same projects. But Dave has now done the marathon with me, and he has also done the Grand Canyon with me. And I adore Dave. I think he is phenomenal, and I love working with him. But I love that like we have those experiences, that we've built our relationship even more, since we don't get to interact with each other a ton in the office.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, do you think you would have known him that well without those? I mean,
I would have known him. We were on the same team when we came into TPG. But I think experiences like that just bring it to a different, our relationship to a whole new level. So,
absolutely.
So yeah, it's been fun to watch those relationships grow, because I know I'm not the only one. I think, Laura getting us all involved in the marathon, like, we loved supporting her, and, it was really hit home with her for her niece that, has cystic fibrosis, and being able to go to, they had the carb load dinner the day before. So once again, we didn't all stay together during the marathon.
Right.
It's not like we were there like running mile for mile the whole way together. We didn't. Like, everyone did it at their own pace, but
everyone did it together though.
We all got to collaborate after. We had the carb load dinner before, where we all got to kind of go through our, what we were going through mentally. Were we nervous? Were we scared? Did we think we were going to finish? All the things. And I don't know. I just think those are the special moments that, the fact that we had how many people run the marathon in our office. Like, our office isn't that big. There's only,
for sure.
What, 12 or 13 of us in TPG
20.
side. The fact that we had that many people that were willing to do something like that together, it's pretty cool. So, but one more question about the Grand Canyon. I know you're a big like podcaster.
Yeah.
Did you listen to your podcast the whole time, or did you just like soak in with nature?
On the back half, definitely put on Dana's too, for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, no, and don't get me wrong, it's not like I had my head down grinding. Like, there were several moments of rest on that back half where you just kind of find a good spot in the shade, and then you look out and you're like,
wow,
look at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually hiking the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly don't really think that set in until probably yesterday.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I hiked the Grand Canyon, but then like I've looked it up more than I ever did before I went, and there's like, I'm like, damn, like I actually did that.
Yeah.
Like,
what an accomplishment.
Yeah, and it's just that's probably my biggest favorite thing about it, is just a renewed belief in like what you're capable of doing.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is, whether it's physical, mental, like you can do it.
Yeah.
If you put yourself in that mind space and you can do it.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
I'm very grateful that's just something I walked away with, and I'll never ever forget. Yeah. So,
advice to anyone looking to do it next year:
do it. Sign up. Don't be scared.
You gonna do it?
Oh, I'm sure we're already. I've already heard my name floated around, so we'll see what's going on.
All right, good stuff.
Yeah,
good
I'm
stuff.
down for it. I'm down for it.
All right. Well, a couple other exciting things have been going on. So, Mark got a promotion. Woo! So that's been exciting. It finally was official on Monday of this week, right?
I think last week.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. But yeah, talk us through that. It's been so fun to watch you grow, and it's kind of crazy to think back to, you being a PT, and I was kind of not scared for you to come and work here, but I was scared that maybe you wouldn't like it just because of, not being as mobile. And I know you love just kind of like
Right.
grinding, walking, doing your thing during the day. So I wasn't sure, like, just being stationary all day and not getting your steps in, if that was going to be a good fit for you. But I've loved to see like how you've grown in the company and your role. And, you've absolutely been killing it. So I'm so proud of you. But talk us through,
So, first off, I mentioned it in our company meeting and in my first sales meeting that I thanked you. You're the first person I thanked, just for being patient and literally showing me everything. And a huge shout out to Mike Assetti too. That guy is probably one of the most patient human beings I've ever worked with in any profession. And anytime that there is a moment that he can teach me something, he grabs onto it and he'll ask, like, you want to learn something? Or you check this out, and he'll go in a 5-minute explanation, go into detail, and like, this is what you need to look out for. This is what will happen. This is what you need to sell with the client. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I appreciate you, Seti. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's been really cool. And I mean, even just you officially, like, it was announced on Monday. And even since Monday, I mean, today's Thursday, you've already jumped into, meeting or like a sit down with Mikey Saps. And like, he's kind of poured into you a bit and showed you the ropes with
and it's
doing prospecting and stuff. And that's pretty cool that, he gave that time to you. Obviously, we have really busy days, and but super valuable. And, that just goes to show, like, the team atmosphere that we have here. Like, yes, we are competitive with each other and, like, just fun competitive. I mean, we want to do the best that we can, but at the same time, like, we want the whole team to succeed. So nice that he took the time to sit down with you.
And it's, I thought there'd be not a huge level of like nervousness or anything like that, but I'm really not nervous because I know that if I have any kind of questions, Eli is 25 feet around the corner that way. Mikey Saps is literally directly behind me. I can just shout, I live with you. It's just
Tony's available 24/7.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's no shortage of resources. There's no reason or any excuse I have to fail being put in this position. And it's just a matter of doing what I've done and taking it to the next level. So,
for sure. It's definitely exciting. I think everyone on the team is really excited. And obviously, the more people we have on the sales team, the faster we can grow the company. And so it's really fun. Welcome to the team. Buckle up. I'm just kidding.
The road's long between you and I, between you and me, but one day I'll get you. I'll chase you down.
We'll see. It's so funny because we are competitive, but I feel like it's kind of like a secret competitive. So when Mark got lost in the Grand Canyon, the joke within the company was that he did it on purpose because he wanted to beat my time. And I'm curious to see how you are with like the sales aspect of it. Like if you're gonna be like secret trying to like bypass me, or if you're gonna.
I'm pretty loud on anything I'm trying to do competitive with you. I don't think I shy away from letting you know.
Were you trying to beat me for the Grand Canyon time though, or no? Oh, okay.
Absolutely. First of all, A, I didn't know your time.
Okay.
And B, like that is in the heat of it. You don't care about time. You're just how much longer do I have to go? But
But good.
I mean, I will say this. I will end with this on the Grand Canyon. While I may have done 2 miles less, I can guarantee you it would not have taken me 6 hours to do 2 more miles. I will say that.
True.
I got out at 3 o'clock, and I think the last of our group didn't get out till 9. I can promise you it wouldn't have taken me 6 hours to do 2 miles.
Yeah.
So
You did a good job. Good stuff. Anything else we need to hit on?
I don't think so. Wrap us up.
All right. Well, that was a fun episode. Wink, wink. Sorry, I had to put a little pun in there. But thank you guys, as always, for tuning in.
Check us out on the One Team Media channel on YouTube. And
subscribe, like, comment.
Download the app. Connect with us. Reach out to us. Reach out to everyone at TBG. Get to know us.
We'll catch you next month on another episode of The Perks in Paving. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.